Today's episode is brought to you by Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/JoshuaVelas and become a $2 backer today and get early access to the new episodes. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below, but for now, on to today's episode. You're listening to the Augmented Experience podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Joshua Velas. I'm a student, musician, and a gamer at heart. Join me as I sit down every week to talk about all the latest news in the technology, business, and video game world. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, everybody, welcome back to the show. My name is Joshua Velas. I'm your host as usual, and obviously welcome back to the show. Today's episode 270 of the show, and before we get started, we're just going to do a little bit of house cleaning around here because it only makes sense if we do it. So let's just get on with the house cleaning. I do want to say thank you guys for coming back and listening to today's episode. It does mean a lot to me, you guys. Constantly take time of your days to down these episodes, to show these episodes, to constantly keep letting me know how you feel, whether you like my stupid face or not, my opinions or not. At the end of the day, I greatly appreciate you guys. And as a side note, as you guys can probably also see, we have a new logo for the show. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go check on Spotify. Well, if you're already listening on Spotify, you probably already see it if it hasn't uploaded yet. YouTube page, wherever you're checking out the podcast, guys, we did create a new logo, and I am very excited about them. The fact that this is something that's been in the making for the past 5 years, or at least for a while now, specifically, because obviously we started the show 5 years ago in 2019, and now it's 2024, which is still crazy to think about. But a new logo, new look, fresh color of paint, a little bit of a change from the black and white and a little bit more colorful, but it still keeps the same vibe and the same feel that we're trying to go around here, which is talking about tech, video games, and the business, and just talking about all this crazy stuff. But also, as a little side note, a little teaser, whenever the Real Talks do come back, you will also see the Real Talks do have their own logo now. So that's something I'm very excited about, and I'm very happy with how these turned out. And I'm very excited, guys, because this is something I've been pushing for a while now, so I'm glad that it finally became a reality. And yes, before you guys say, where the hell have I been for the past 2 weeks? Yeah, it's been pretty busy, guys. Life has been busy. In short, the photography business has been blowing up. There's been some stuff going on here at home, but it's getting taken care of and resolved. And I had a fun time in Lubbock last week as well with my girlfriend, and also just taking a couple photo shoots, which if you guys are interested, check out the photography page. I'm going to put in the link down below, and going forward in the episodes, I'm going to start putting it in there too, just in case, hey, that's something you're interested in. But to be honest, guys, this past week and even the week prior, there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on, if I'm being real with you. We've seen the launch of Dragon Dogma 2, the controversy with all that stuff, PS5 Pro stuff, Nintendo Switch 2 stuff getting delayed. We've seen things along the lines with, EVs being made. We've seen shifts in companies, new deals being made between companies. But one thing that stuck out this week, and this is what we're going to talk about, is a general idea for today's episode, is the whole Humane Ai Pin Debacle. And this coincides with the same commentary that has been made a while back about the state of tech reviewing and how, one, people are pretty fickle, but at the same time, really dumb. And I'm trying to be as kind and polite as I can be about this kind of stuff, because I understand people have their opinions, and they are more than allowed to have their opinions. We're not stating that people can't have opinions or have a different viewpoint. But at the same time, we can also acknowledge the wild inconsistencies with people when it comes to how they view certain opinions or how they take certain people's commentary, and maybe get a little bit too personally. Maybe they try to spin it in some sophisticated ideological way of saying, oh, well, this is injustice, this is unethical, they can't do this is mean. I'm like, we should be promoting, this is the future AI, brother. But if you guys aren't aware of the whole situation that took place, Humane AI came out with their Humane AI pin, and Marques Brownlee, or MKBHD as you guys probably know him best, put out a review stating this is the worst tech product he's ever used. And some people got pretty booty tight about it. I'm not gonna lie to you, homies. They got kind of tight, and they weren't happy. They were stating, oh, this is unethical. They went on whole rants on Twitter about it. And Marques had to post a follow-up stating his own viewpoints and, how when we are reviewing products. And the key tagline, or I'd say the general thread that can be kept throughout this entire conversation is that we should be evaluating products based on what they are now and not the promises of future updates down the road. Because yes, that is how things realistically should be. For me, let's be realistic here, guys. This is how we should be reviewing everything and how we formulate our opinions about things going on. We should not base it off what they could be, but what they are right now, because this is what we're interacting with. This piece of advice is not just exclusive to reviewing technology or buying decisions or anything along those lines. But yes, you could even use this in day-to-day life, like how you manage your businesses or how you manage your job, like job opportunities, like even relationships. Like, we have to evaluate where we are at currently and not what could be down the road, especially when it's dealing with stuff that could change rapidly over time, because that is the reality. Like, it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, but we have to be objective and we have to look at these situations in a manner that makes sense. And when we're looking at this situation here, that's essentially what Marquez did was, and not just Marquez, but people around him, his fellow colleagues, his peers, all came to the same general conclusion that yes, they did find some actual niche and enjoyable parts of the experience when reviewing this product. But they also mentioned that there are some glaring flaws and design issues, and just in general, the whole experience is flawed. Like, yes, the idea of the product is incredible, that they find it very fascinating, because why not? Like, revolutionizing AI, and not just revolutionizing AI, but how we are interacting with AI in our day-to-day lives, like the next evolution of the smartphone that doesn't necessarily revive or rely on some big block that we have to have in our hands, but maybe something that can be more holographic. And same thing, incorporating AI into our lives in a more meaningful and personal way, which is our own personal gadgets that we have on us 24/7. However, this implementation just ain't it, Chief. It didn't work that well. There's a lot of thermal issues, battery life is trash, hand tracking's abysmal. And yes, there are some cool factors, like it looks pretty cool, but also the price just isn't right, realistically speaking, for this type of product. And the experience that it's offering does not justify its price tag. And yes, some people went on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, or even comment sections of videos, and were just very bothered, annoyed. They were stating that this is unethical, that this doesn't make sense. Like, how dare he? And I'm like, guys, first off, it's not that personal. Like, stop dick riding a company that doesn't care about you. Second, why are we trying to defend a company that used venture capital money to pivot from their original company purpose and design that they were going to do and product that they're going to bring out to market to pivot to AI because the latest buzzword and they felt they can make a ton of money off it? Yeah, we're totally going to back this company and make them, feel good that they did something good. Like, no, their product is dick, homie. But this does raise some concerns as well, because one of the main concerns was, hey, when you have an audience as big as Marquez, when you have so much reach, when you have so much engagement, you have so much as a power over your audience, if you were to point them in a certain direction, it could be catastrophic, that a company could go belly up. But I also counter that with, that's how the video game industry works, guys. Like, this isn't some new concept that just came out of nowhere. But objectively speaking, this is how things work. This is how things should be. It's realistically why the video game industry is the way it is. That yes, we are to weed out bad products. This is how things work. We don't just do things just cause. Yes, we should be weeding out these bad products. We should be pointing out that there are flawed products and services in the market and that they should not be tolerated just because a company wants some easy cash. Like, no. That's not how a healthy, thriving marketplace is. And yes, that will happen in a marketplace, that not every product is going to be a banger. Like, not every product is going to be good. There's going to be some that are better than others. There are going to be some that, while more affordable, may not have like all the bells and whistles that a more expensive counterpart has. Sometimes a product that's cheaper might actually be better than its more expensive counterpart. And yes, there are products and services that exist that are just plain out cash grabs and just dog water and realistically shouldn't exist, and companies should not be able to get away with stuff like this. And this is an instance where we have an overpriced product that is over delivering or over promising, under delivering, and is just very, very undercooked. If we're being honest here, it is not ready for prime time. This is not ready for the mass market. And the fact that they're charging the price that they are charging for something like this Doesn't make sense, objectively speaking. And this is where I don't agree with the commentary that was made that this was all unethical. Marquez is just on a hate campaign. He did this with another company, with an EV. And I'm like, well, guys, if you look at that EV company that is currently going bankrupt right now, or allegedly going bankrupt, well, yeah, when you're doing some of the shady and sketchy stuff that they're doing, would you be surprised that they were going belly up? Like, you guys, you get what I'm saying? Is like, if you're doing shady and sketchy stuff, like, if you get called out on it, should you really get mad? Or same thing, you're competing in a heavily competitive marketplace that your product is severely under the competition, and you did the same thing. You overpromised, you underdelivered, and you're doing a lot of shady stuff on the back end. Like, are you surprised that they're going belly up? No, that's just expected. That's how things should be. Like, for example, that's like saying a video game that came out recently, you know, it's not like the Kill the Justice League was some 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Am I right? No, like that dog shit game shouldn't have even come out to begin with. And yes, it got what it deserved, which is getting dog walked into the grave. And guess what? Its player count is dwindling. They're learning a very hard lesson. When you make a dog shit game, guess what? You're not going to make money off it. And people are going to ragdoll you and hold this against you for a long while, because you are such a beloved studio that made high quality games like the Arkham series. And guess what? You made something that was really, really dog shit and goes against everything you stand for originally as a company. In the case of Marquez, I don't feel this is an instance where what Marquez did was unethical and immoral and that he's a bad human being. If anything, he kind of did the right thing if you think about it, which is being objective, being honest, and is trying to prevent people from making a very poor financial decision that doesn't make sense. Why would you buy something that is this undercooked? Now, I will say this. There's always a sucker in every marketplace. That is just how it is, guys. You could have a literal bag of shit in front of you, and there will be somebody that will buy that bag of shit because they want a bag of shit. It happens. It's normal in every marketplace. There's always going to be that one person that is going to just love something even if it's absolute piece of shit. But this also falls in line with this idea that we always talk about. The general thread throughout the whole conversation today is that yes, we should be reviewing products on what they are now and not the promise of future updates down the road, because yes, that stuff can change wildly. We're not saying that products can't evolve and can't change over time. That is not what we're saying. But what we're saying here, and we've talked about this multiple times, again, we should be evaluating based on what is here and what is now, not what is, what if. No, what is, we're here right now. What are we dealing with? And yes, if updates come down the road, then yes, we should reevaluate these products and services as time goes on. That's a continuous cycle. The review cycle, or how we evaluate pieces of technology, doesn't just end at the initial review. It should be like every 6 months, every year, every 2 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we should be evaluating these products long term. Like, for example, the camera that I use from a photography business, I'm using a Canon R5. That thing is 4 years old now, and I traded in my Canon R6 Mark II, which is a much newer body. And yes, for video, it is objectively a better body than the R5. But for what I do as a photographer, I prefer a higher resolution sensor with great details to get the most out of these Canon L lenses. And guess what? The R5 is still an impeccable camera with incredible detail at 45 megapixels. Yes, it is an older body. It still has great autofocus. Is it the greatest? No. It's still amazing. It still gets me great shots, and it's probably still going to keep giving me great shots 10 years from now. Because guess what? Things age like fine wine, homie, if they're great. As long as the company continues to support them, as long as they continue to do what needs to be done. But again, these are also different industries. We have to remember that, yes, the camera industry is a lot different than, say, mobile tech, like smartphones and things like that. Like, yes, cameras are meant to be used for a longer period of time. There are people still using older film cameras from the 80s. Like, you get what I'm saying, guys? Like, this is how things should be. This is how we should be evaluating pieces of technology as time goes on. That we should be evaluating them, yes, what they are currently, but that doesn't necessarily mean they can't change over time with updates. Because look at the Canon R5. Major overheating issues at the start of launch, and look where it is now. It is a phenomenal camera that I recommend to a lot of people, especially if you're in the Canon ecosystem and you're wanting to invest in some high resolution bodies. Now, are they going to make a newer one? Probably, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the older one is trash. That just means like, hey, there's a newer one that probably fixes some of those issues in a better way and adds a unique solution to them. But for what we have here in front of us, it clearly showed it was a great camera, and that still is in today's marketplace, and a very competitive marketplace where you have things like the Nikon Z8, the Sony A1, the Sony A9 Mark II, the Sony A7R5, A7 IV. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're starting to see all these things, guys. But my point still stands. The whole thread throughout this entire conversation is we should be evaluating things on what they are right now. And when we're currently looking at the situation with the Humane Ai Pin, right now it is a piece of hot dog shit. That doesn't mean it can't get better over time, because yes, Mark has also stated this as well. Products can get better over time, and the idea of this product is not bad. It is a great idea. It's just the current implementation is terrible, but that doesn't mean the company can't go back to the drawing board and find a new way to implement it, if that makes sense. Like, listen to the constructive criticism that was given. What are the areas that they can improve? And if not, that's fine. But how do we work around some of those downsides, especially with the current limitations of technology they have right now? But again, I don't necessarily think this is a situation of, oh, he's being unethical, or when we are reviewing products and services, that it's unethical if we're, large followers, large influence on people when we're shitting on something. I'm like, no, that just means like, homie, if it's shit, it's shit. It's not personal. Like, get that corporate boot out of your mouth. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have you been following the situation? Do you have your own general thoughts about it? What do you think about the Humane Ai Pin? If you even care about it, do you even know what the hell that thing is? Because I certainly did until I saw it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But also let me know what you guys think in the comments about the new logo. I really hope you guys like it. Let me know, like, how would you change it for the next time we decide to update the logo? Same thing goes whenever we do the real talks again and show the new logo. Like, let me know what you guys think about it too. But also, like I said, in the link down below, that's something you guys are interested in, I will be posting a link to my photography website on there, so you can check out my portfolio. If you're interested in setting something up, contact page in there too. But I hope you guys have yourselves a wonderful day, a wonderful week. I love you guys. Please be safe. Don't do anything dumb, guys. And I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys. Hey there. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day and listening to today's episode. If you're interested in supporting the show, whether it be financially, clicking the follow button, or just sharing the episode, it all works for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I love you guys to death.